Hi, welcome back to Legacy Lockdown Power Hour. My guest today is a beloved figure in community theater alike, a gentle giant, so to say, a kind soul, beautiful human being, and just loving to everybody that he meets. Plus, he looks good in a toga. Check this out. My guest today, Walter Costello. Welcome to Voices from the Past. And like I said, welcome to our guest, Mr. Walter Costello.
Thank you, sir.
Walter, where are you coming to us from today?
Bellingham, Washington.
Bellingham, Washington. It's a long way from Rockaway.
Yes, it is.
It's a whole 3-hour difference in terms of time too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming out, and let's just jump right into it. So tell us how you first started in the arts and what brought you to it and what inspired you.
Holy cow. The first time I started performing was actually in high school. I was in several productions at my high school. I was also in my local CYO, which is a Catholic youth organization that had yearly talent shows or whatever you want to call it. It was just a great way to express yourself, a great way to meet people, a great way to spend time with your friends.
Okay. Great. And so, what brought you to the stage? What made you want to get up there? Was there a certain role that you saw, or you saw somebody else do it, and you were like, I could do that?
Um, well, so I have a certain kind of voice that um, people have encouraged me to use over time, um, and once I started doing it, I just loved it. I do love it. Um, like I said, it. In addition to being able to express yourself, community theater especially is really a family. It always has been through every community theater I've ever worked with, in high school, in college. Um, it's really helps you develop relationships. I don't know. I made lifelong friends that way. And there's something about being on the stage. I don't know. You just it's a release. It's a way to express yourself. It's a blast, really.
Have you always been singing? Or did you start by acting?
I did not start singing until so Anne Marie Brogan and J.P. Brogan encouraged me to try out for St. Athanasius Group's production of The Music Man. No, not The Music Man. Oh shoot! What's the one with the Sister Sarah and the band?
Sarah.
Yeah, Sister Sarah.
Nonsense?
No.
Oh, sorry, Music Man.
It is Music Man. No, it's not
Music.
Music Man. It's Guys and Dolls.
Okay, gotcha.
Guys and Dolls. So I was in. Joe McLaughlin was the music director. That was the first time I really started singing. I was in the mission band. I had a very simple bass line. It was in a couple of other numbers, and it was a lot of fun. And since then, people have encouraged me, and I've encouraged myself really to use my voice.
So you were looking like a stunner back when you were younger. I'm gonna pull up a little bad boy right here, and you tell me what I'm looking at.
Okay, I have to confess, I don't remember the name of the production. This was my first production in college.
Wow.
With the Textile Theater Guild, Philadelphia College of Textiles and Science Theater Guild.
So did you study performance in school, or were you studying something else?
No, something else. I
Okay.
studied textile marketing and management was
Gotcha.
my major.
Okay.
Yeah, but Theater Guild became, I was in several other productions there before I graduated.
Gotcha. What's this bad boy that we're looking at right here?
Oh my God, I sent you that. And that is not a theater piece at all. That's my mother and I on vacation in the Netherlands.
Oh, that's adorable. I thought it was something from. I mean, I just went and started picking stuff, so I was like, "Ooh, what's this? What's
Okay,
this?"
okay, yeah.
So you
I
come
love
up.
that.
You are, and I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt. You are one of the most beloved people in the theater community. Such a kind, loving person and a kind human being. How did you get involved working with the Samaha group and working with Brooklyn One and working with all these groups doing this your performance and singing and just being out there in their productions?
Almost every group that I was in, someone saw me in something and pulled me aside and said, "Hey, come over here." A Rockaway Theater Company. You can imagine it was Susan um, Jasper got me into Rockaway. Anthony, I knew Tom Kane a little bit. Anthony, I met doing productions at his high school at Xavier because I knew Tommy Kane. He was doing some stuff there, and I met Anthony when he was, I think, like a sophomore or a junior in high school.
So what are some of your memories working with Tom Kane? A big loss to the community.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, he just what a great guy. He didn't he made it easy to perform with him because he's just out there. I mean, he's out there as a person, like you said, big heart, big guy, big personality. Um, just so much fun to be on the stage with him.
So you didn't go to school for performance. You sing, you act, you do performance in parks and just anywhere that you get a chance to express yourself through the arts. And how did it feel to take on a very dramatic role and work in a very serious production like Waiting for Godot?
Wow, that was challenging, really challenging. Fortunately, the rest of the Tom Kane, an awesome performer. Couldn't have done it without him. He was so helpful. Um, we rehearsed the hell out of it because the lines are so loopy in certain instances, and they just go round and round and round. And sometimes it's hard to remember where you are. You get lost a little bit. Tom Kane I couldn't have done without him. He's a great guy, and he helped me so much in that production.
Who
I
approached you? Who
What's that?
approached you? Who approached you for that role? Was that something you were interested in, or was that someone saying, "Hey, you should try this because you
That
could
was
do
Anthony
something better"?
Marino.
That was Marino.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He also got me to do Our Town at Rockaway. Just asked me, "Hey, we're doing this thing. Please come help us." Sure. Anything Anthony asked me to do, I'll do it.
So what?
Do well, sir.
Were you afraid of the whip,
Yes, sir.
of the roars,
Yes, sir.
of the two big men?
Yes, sir.
Did you know them?
No, sir.
Are you a native of these parts? Do you come from these parts?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's all back of lies. Tell us the truth.
But it is the truth, sir.
You let him alone. What's the matter with you?
No.
What's the matter with you?
I'm unhappy.
No, not really. Since when?
I've forgotten.
Extraordinary, the tricks the mind plays. Well,
Mr. Godot?
you don't recognize me?
No, sir.
It wasn't you came yesterday?
No, sir.
This is your first time?
Yes, sir.
Words. Speak.
Mr. Godot told me to tell you that you won't be coming tonight. Surely tomorrow.
That's all?
Yes, sir.
Do you work for Mr. Godot?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I'm going to go.
So what are your memories of watching a young Anthony Marino come up from being a student to running the company?
Wow. He was a sweet kid. He was, during productions at Xavier, like it was set kind of in a restaurant. So as props, I brought some actual bottles of wine, and afterwards, donated them to the kids. Anthony being one of 3 or 4 other kids that were in the production. I liked him as soon as I met him, and our relationship developed from there. I love that guy.
So with art being what it is and expressing yourself and allowing yourself to just let go, how did you feel approaching parts like working out in public, working in the parks and working in the outdoors?
That was a great production. I've been in a couple of productions with Brooklyn One in Shakespeare in the Park. There's nothing like being outdoors and with trees all around. It's a great feeling. The crowds at those kind of events were not really big crowds. Maybe you'd have 20, 25 people. Maybe you'd have 10 people, 30 people. It's just, and they're right there. That's what makes it special, is the audience is right there. They're on the same level as you are, and they're just a couple 5 feet away sometimes. It makes it it's such an intimate setting that it really makes it a lot easier in a way.
How did you get involved with the Samaha Group and Smokey Joe's Cafe and their performances as well?
Smokey Joe's Cafe. So many performances of that all around Brooklyn. That was another fun thing to do outdoors. Once again, Anne Marie Brogan got me into Samaha and in the choral group to start with. And then when Joe
did I think that thy spears were stronger than thy shames? Myself would on the rearward of approaches strike at thy life. Well, tried I why did I have but one? Tried I for that at frugal nature's frame? But one too much by thee, why had I one? Why was that ever lovely in my eyes? Well, why had I not with charitable hand took up a beggar's issue at my gate, and besmirched what thus is mired with infamy? I might have said, no part of this is mine. This shame tries to rise itself from unknown loins? But mine. I love, mine I praise, and mine I was proud on, so much that I was not to myself mine. And valuing of her, oh, why she is fallen into a pit of ink that the white sea hath too few drops to wash clean again, and salt too little, which makes season into her foul tainted flesh.
When Jeff came up, whenever someone needs a bass, because there evidently are not a whole lot of basses in community theater,
Right.
Whenever anybody needs a bass, they always come looking for me. And when Jeff was doing Smokey Joe's Cafe, I was already in the vocal ensemble. It just seemed a natural that I didn't even audition. I've hardly ever auditioned for any part, actually.
So you don't have to go through the pains and the dwells of the audition call. Lucky you. I think I got something here for you. There we go. So what was it like working with the cast of the crew, especially knowing that a lot of the people that you worked with in the show have gone on to some really good things and really big things?
Yep. Danny Mazza, also love that guy. Great guy. A great cast. Small, I forget, there were 9 of us or 10 of us in the cast. And once again, family. Just immediately. Diana Prano, another great, wonderful performer and good friend. It was a blast. Doing that show was so much fun. So much fun.
What are your memories of working the one-act festivals, the Vince Mazza Memorial one-act festival, or the plays that they did?
Another Anthony Marino, Walter, come on down. Sure. Uh, yeah, so
Anthony's your guy. Anthony's your agent. He books you.
kind of in a way.
Gotta make sure to tag him in this because he's gonna need that recognition for this one.
Totally, man. Yeah, I've already said I love him to pieces. Yeah, like I said, anything he asks me to do, I'm down. I'm there.
And so you worked with Samaha. You worked with a couple of their shows. How was being in those large scale productions? Because Samaha is very known for their grand scale productions and really just their over the top sets and just really Broadway, off Broadway caliber.
Yeah. I think that was in his productions. That's the first time I've ever been in such a large scale production. And it's so big. The cast is so big. You may not even know everybody. But it's quite an experience to be part of that kind of giant ensemble. Yeah, the baseball scene. That really, it was great experiences with Jess Samaha. And you get to use your voice, you get to act a little bit. Just a lot of fun.
If you had to pick one production that you could do again tomorrow, and you got a phone call, hey, I want you to do this role. Which role out of the ones that you performed with Samaha or even Brooklyn One would you do tomorrow in a heartbeat?
Okay, so it wasn't with either of those companies, but I would do Little Shop of Horrors again in a heartbeat.
Little Shop. So that brings us to Rockaway, the Rockaway Theater Company, where you worked, and you that's where I first met you as the Plank.
Okay, I got to say, first time I did it was with Stravelli Players. No, I think it was still St. A's at the time.
Okay.
Michael Fascinella was the director. I sat in the stairwell off the stage. I love that. I love that part. Also, you're on book the whole time. You don't have to worry about anything, and that part is just that's my favorite. Totally. And of course, Susan saw at some point, and then I got the part also at Rockaway.
That's a great role for you, and I do remember that very fondly. Of that with Matt and Chaz. And tell us about the atmosphere in Rockaway and working so closely in such a tight knit family with everybody that you work with.
It probably is the closest family that in theater that experience that I've had. John Galeese, everybody there, just great people. I got involved in Rockaway because Susan Jasper saw me at like the Fifth Avenue Festival in Brooklyn, with the Samaha group, and got a call from her not too long after that. Okay. I don't think I've ever said no to a role. Because there's nothing like being on stage. I don't know. It just it's so much fun.
So in Rockaway, you performed in Little Shop of Horrors. You took on basically any role that came up where they needed that voice. How did you?
Let me say, we did Music Man. I was in the barbershop quartet in Music Man. That was so much fun.
Oh yeah. So what are your memories because Danny was just talking about that, about how he would do that with you guys again in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, me too. So much fun. Yeah, me and Danny. Yeah, barbershop quartet. Awesome. So much fun. Yeah, that close harmony, getting that close harmony and then keeping it it's magic,
Do you prefer musicals over dramas or dramas over musicals, or it doesn't matter, you just do it anyway?
It doesn't matter. I do it anyway. I've been in more musicals than I have in dramas or straight plays, but yeah, it's both rewarding.
So you said that the Plant and Little Shop was number one, obviously. If you had to pick two more roles that you would do again tomorrow, which ones would they pick?
Okay, so I would say the Barbershop Quartet and Editor Webb in our town.
Oh, that was nice. So how was that production? What's it like working in a production where the scale is minimal with sets, going from doing big scale musicals that you're
Yeah.
doing in big scale productions?
Well, we did it because a close friend of Rockaway passed away, and she had always wanted to see it, Rockaway do it. And Anthony Marino got word of that, and he pulled together. And we only rehearsed for like 2 weeks before the show went up, and that was an amazing experience. Amazing experience.
So you've worked in a lot of the community theaters, and again, you have a great. So tell us about some of the charity stuff that you've done in the past, things that you've done to give back to the community. I remember you shaved your head with Kristen and Matt, and
Yeah, St. Baldrick's. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I worked in the textile industry, and I was involved in 2 different organizations in that industry. One raised money for kids rehabilitation at NYU Langone. Gave millions of dollars over the years that I was involved in the organization, and extremely rewarding. When you see kids, babies up to teenagers, with all kinds of congenital diseases, or they were in a bicycle accident, or they were in a car accident, they've had concussions or whatever. And we gave money for like music therapy and art therapy and a piece of equipment, that kind of stuff. Just so rewarding. When you go to we also held parties at the hospital for the kids. When you go to the hospital and you see these kids and they're smiling and they're kids, but they're hooked up to something. It really breaks your heart and it opens your heart at the same time. I was also involved in an organization called the Under Fashion Club, which raised money for scholarships and internships for students, mostly at FIT, who were interested in intimate apparel. Also rewarding. You see kids coming up, and then you see them working at companies that you're dealing with. Very rewarding.
So you have plenty of experience working both in the industry and working in performances, and so you've done it for so long. Here's the question that everyone's asking: why'd you stop?
About 6 years ago, I was really sick. Didn't know what it was. Took months and months to get it diagnosed. I was on sick leave from work for 6 months. Eventually, after quite a bit of blood being drawn, all kinds of X-rays, colonoscopies, you name it, I had it. Nobody ever figured it out until I found the right doctor, and he knew immediately what was wrong with me. I have a pituitary adenoma. It's still there. It stopped my pituitary gland from functioning. Pituitary gland sends signals to all your other glands to make them perform, and so all my other glands stopped functioning as well. I'm on medication now, but especially going out to Rockaway, I still don't have the stamina to work and do all that rehearsing and commuting. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to stop. Until Anthony Marino called me up, said, "Oh my God, we're doing Shakespeare in the Park, and one of our performers backed out at the last minute. Would you please?" Anthony, yes.
So what was your?
That was after like 6 years of not performing, and I did that one performance of Shakespeare in the Park, or a couple performances of it.
So what was your last role that you performed? Who was it, and what show was it? Do you remember?
No.
It's okay. It's fine. So how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm on medication.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. No, that's Joe.
Hey,
That's Eric.
how you doing? So, man, that's a story, man. That's a story, and that's the reason we're here, is to find out how, first of all, how you're doing, what you're up to, and so with everything that's going on, and this is just a general question: is do you miss it? Do you miss
Yeah,
being out there?
I do. Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a local theater group here in Bellingham, um, busy running an inn and doing all kinds of stuff around here. I haven't had the opportunity to even see any of their productions yet, let alone get involved with them. In the long run, I hope I can. I hope I can join that group. You know, I've also done a lot of. I've done stage crew on a lot of productions. I was thinking maybe I'd start there by volunteering for stage crew, and then see what happens.
So you
That's
you finished
that's
up.
probably that's a little ways down the road, though.
It's fine. And listen, as if it's there, it's there. And if you do it, you do it. And you just have to do what makes you happy. And I know, trust me, I have no expertise on what you're going through. Absolutely. But I'm just glad that, one, you reached out and that we had a chance to talk today about everything. Because again, that's the question, is what's everyone up to, and
Yeah.
how are you doing? So what encouraged you to move, and to move so far away?
My man.
So you
Yep.
guys running in now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This
Yeah. You know, after 7 years of Joe lived with me the year I was sick. But other than that, we've been having a long distance relationship. He's been in New Orleans, and then he was out here on the West Coast for a number of years. And a year and a half ago, we cooked up this idea to get married, move out here, open the inn.
All right. So I mean, that's really as much of the questions that I can get into. So, fastest interview ever. So with that being said, the last question that I have for you is, and this is something that I do with everybody, is if Walter today can talk to Walter from years ago that just started in the industry, what advice would you give Walter from the past?
I wish I had been able to use my voice more. I would say I should have taken more vocal lessons myself. Um, you know, and just put yourself out there. Have fun. You know, make friends, um, and be part of a real community.
What's next for Walter?
Uh, Getting the inn back up and running after all of this virus mess is over. And like I said, you know, maybe a year or so down the road, I'll things get settled here, and the inn is running smoothly. Um, I'll try out the Bellingham Theater Company and see what happens.
And do you have a message for any of your friends, fans, family out there that'll be watching this? Your theater family, of course.
I miss every one of them. I really do. That's like I said, part of the wonderful part about community theater is the relationships that you form, and I have a lot of great friends. Met a lot of wonderful, talented people who've helped me be a better performer. Um, yeah, so obviously Anthony, Susan Jasper, you know, John Galise, Anthony. I said Anthony Marino. People like Anne Marie Brogan and JP Brogan, who got me rolling in the first place. You know, love those guys. Tom Kane, of course, and the other Tom Kane, both Tom Kanes, great people. Yeah, I miss it. I really do.
Now, Walter, again, I want to thank you so much with all the madness and taking the time out to speak to us today on this episode. And with that being said, I want to say thank you very much again, and thank you for sharing us thank you for sharing us with your voice. Your
Yeah,
voice as a singer, your voice as what you just said and what you spoke and how well you spoke. And you got anything else before we sign off for the day?
nope, that's about it.
Well,
Thanks so much.
Walter, thank you very much for joining us again. And that was your voice from the past.
Eric, cool, man. Thanks a lot. Great to see you too.
Thanks again. Have a great night.
Okay, you too.
Be safe through all this.
All right, man.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Once again, I want to thank you for watching this episode of Voices from the Past. Which voice will you hear next? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.